and welcome to the video. So for those of you who know me, you will know how much of a true crime junkie I am and how much I love true crime videos, podcasts, basically anything like that I could get my hands on. I've always liked it since I was probably early high school, and it's just because I find it really interesting, just kind of to see how the case develops and unfolds, and then finally how they catch the killer or solve the case. To me, that's the most satisfying part of it. So I figured I would try my hands on making a video, like a true crime video. So if this is not your thing, do not continue watching. This one is a little bit on the brutal side, and it is still a case that is going on today. It has not been solved yet. So yeah, if you want to hear more about these individuals called Bill and Peggy Stephenson, continue watching, and hopefully in the comments below we can have a discussion at the end, which is, obviously I want everyone to be respectful because the family of these people. So this is Bill and Peggy Stephenson. They're both 74 years old. They are childhood sweethearts, and they are both very involved in their local religious community and churches. And Bill was particularly known for his truck stop religious services, and Peggy was an organist at their local church. John and Peggy live in Florence, Kentucky, and they are pretty much the perfect couple. This is why when they were killed, people were so shocked, and everyone thought to themselves, who could kill such a amazing couple like this? Who could do this to such great people? Okay, so let's flash forward to May 29, 2011. Bill and Peggy were found murdered in their Florence, Kentucky home. And right away, the police noticed something strange about the crime scene. They reported that there were many different items that indicated that there was some kind of motive behind the killing, and that whoever murdered them possibly knew who they were, and that they were targeted. And they noticed just in the way that the bodies were positioned, and that there were certain items that again indicated to the police that there was some kind of motive behind the killing, and that possibly whoever killed Bill and Peggy knew who they were. Something else that was really strange that the police noticed right away is that by the way that their bodies were positioned and by the way that certain items were laying around the crime scene, that possibly the killer was trying to communicate something to them, or prove a point, or make some kind of statement.
A 74-year-old couple described as caring and giving, people of God spreading the word of the Lord. So who would want them dead?
May 29, 2011, which was 7 years ago, that crime scene, of all the crime scenes I've been on, was the most unique by far.
Bill and his wife were brutally killed. Cause of death, stabbing, and blunt force trauma. But the crime scene is something investigators and federal experts are still scratching their heads about.
There were symbols, there were items that were used at the scene to indicate strong feelings or opinions about the victims, Bill and Peggy.
Detective Cox says the evidence proves the killer or killers were either with the bodies for several hours or came back to the home long after the murders. No eyewitnesses, no murder weapon found. The home was cleaned, the bodies staged in a certain way, littered with odd items. Cox won't call it a satanic ritual or sacrifice, but he does believe the killer was trying to communicate something.
So one suspect that police initially had in the beginning of this investigation was actually Bill and Peggy's nephew, who was supposedly connected to another murder that happened a few years later in 2013. But he was initially eliminated after his DNA did not match the crime scene. So once again, they had no real lead, although they have stated that they have multiple people that they are investigating and keeping a close eye on. So they do have possible suspects, although I don't believe, I couldn't find anything, but I do not believe that they have released any names or anything like that. So they don't really have a concrete suspect at the moment. Police are still investigating and still trying to find Bill and Peggy's killer, and hopefully one day they will be able to give the family some closure into kind of what happened and why they were killed. And you know, I wonder if the killer did know them, just because of, like I said, when the report came out, they talked about how the body was positioned, about how there were certain items, so clearly there was some kind of connection between whoever the killer was and Bill and Peggy. So I want to know what you guys think. I know this was kind of a short one. There wasn't too much information that I can find. But yeah, just let me know what you think of this case in the comments below. If you think that the killer knew who Bill and Peggy were, or if you think it was just some kind of random killing. But either way, it should not have happened. And I just want to give my condolences and my love and support to Bill and Peggy's family. And hopefully, like I said, they can get some kind of closure someday. And I know that the lead detective of this case, he said in an interview, he's not going to retire until the day after they find the killer. So that's dedication. And like I said, any resources that you guys can find, if there's anything that I missed, if there's anything that I said incorrectly, just let me know in the comments below. Or if you guys just want to talk about the case, and let me know what other cases you want to hear in the future, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'm just going to insert some clips now from different interviews and things like that, just to give you guys a little bit more background. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.
It's
Bye.
incredibly unusual for a lot of things being considered.
Bill and Peggy Stephenson were found murdered, one beaten to death, the other stabbed. Their bodies and the entire crime scene investigators described as staged. The killer or killers with an apparent message yet to be deciphered. Years before the murders, I met Bill Stephenson while I was doing a story about the trucker's chapel he ran.
If you're willing to go, God will give you a place to go. I mean, that's no ifs, ands, or buts, he will.
Now a new tip, different because investigators know the information is credible.
It indicated that someone knew about things at the crime scene that we have never made public.
We now have some new information for the first time maybe in almost 10 years. What was your reaction to that?
Thrilled. I mean, you know, that's awesome that somebody knows something about that.
Bill and Peggy Stevenson's daughter, Beth Stephenson Victor, says May 29th, 2011 remains a part of every day for the family.
It's a nightmare that I don't know that will ever go away.
Now the family is offering a $50,000 reward for information that could take the edge off of a nightmare.